all right, party people in the place to be, vandals and everybody else out there looking in the shadows. I would just like to add once again that Patrick Kidlone does not sing our theme song. How you doing tonight, Joe? Man, I'm trying to be a little goofy because been a little down lately, but yeah, dude, I'm really happy we're back and doing this. Sorry we're a little late, everybody that might be listening in right now. My Windows needed to update when I cleaned my computer and turned it off, restarted it, so that's why we're a couple moments tardy.
And if that's anyway, if they don't like it, they can go to hell.
So, Joe, man, what are we talking about tonight?
We're going to be talking about Joyama, a Dark Horse book written and drawn by Daniel Isles. Isles? Yeah, Isles. Yeah. And then we'll also be talking about Dorfler by Jermey Baum. Baum.
Yeah, and he really has a thing for that kind of a woman with that overbite like that. He because I mean I've seen his art since then, since this book, and like
that's his style. That's his
that's his dream woman, maybe. I don't know, but like he really likes that look. And it's everywhere in this book. Like the fucking mountains have that smile. So
yeah.
So yeah, we'll be getting to those wonderful masterpieces in just a moment. But Joe, man, you got a check-in, brother?
Yeah, I do have a check-in. One of the things we said I was most anticipating on when we did our episode of what we're looking forward to in 2024 was the second season of Arcane, and it's upon us. The first 3 episodes dropped last weekend. The next 3 dropped this weekend. So every weekend they're going to drop 3 episodes. I'm not sure if it's a 9-episode series.
Yeah, it's 9 again, just like last time. And this is the last season too. They're wrapping it up with
the second and final season of Arcane. And I just finished watching the 3rd episode last night, and so far it's pretty good. It's still keeping that aesthetic, that like kind of punk rock vibe to it, and it's pretty cool. It's fun. They have like a few comic type intros, which are really cool.
Oh, do they kind of like the one in the first season when they kind of introduced the firelights? I think they're called the.
Yeah, they do that again for
graffiti style and shit. That was so cool.
Yeah, they kept with that. And like, there's a fight scene, and the guy gets like these like squiggly stars and stuff. It's really cool. It's very stylish, just like the first season.
It's about time they finally got to a second season, man. That I think the first season came out when I was still in my 30s, bro. Like it's been a decade.
Yeah,
feels like
it's almost 2 years, I think, since the other season dropped. Yeah,
but I mean, like this show looks so amazing. Like the animation, it just looks so good. Every episode looks as good as like Puss in Boots 2 or like the Spider-Verse movies, man.
Yeah,
and it's a weekly show, or it's a limited show, you know what I mean? They're not...
I would say it's on par with the Spider-Verse, like the animation, right? It's got that style,
maybe a little more with the expression, maybe a little more with the expressions on the face. Like I noticed, like they so many expressive faces and distinct ones. They don't reuse them, you know what I mean? That's good animation, in my opinion. It's probably one of the best looking 3D animations out there, in my opinion.
And one other thing, well, that was the first season. I'd seen it, and then you recommended, you got to watch this. I think you'll dig it, and I watched it and I loved it. That was Arcane. And here's another show you've been talking about for a bit. You didn't tell me I had to watch it, but you've been dropping it in the chats and stuff a lot, talking about how much you loved it and stuff. So I went and took a look, and Dan is quite the freaking anime, man. It's wild. It's really wild. I want to eat your dong. Give me your bananas.
The one girl thinking she's all holy when she's got his golden testicle.
Yeah.
God chose me. I have the power.
This is a weekly drop, and they're up to 6 episodes, I believe, of 12. It's going to be a 12-episode series, and they're up to episode 6.
So it's about half done?
Halfway, yeah. And I think the episodes drop on Tuesdays, I believe. Or Sundays? Thursdays.
Monday, Tuesday. Thursdays? So there's going to be a new one tomorrow.
Oh, Tomorrow. Okay, cool. All right. So up to 6 episodes of that, which is really fun. If you like weird, wild, over the top, just wacky, like doesn't pull any punches, isn't worried about taking risks, well, you'll love Dan to Dan. It's
got some good emotion to it too, though, man. Like it's
yeah.
got a little slice of life thing with
Mhm.
Otako Kun or whatever she calls him, and with Miss Ayase, yeah, like
Yeah.
they're hella funny together.
Yeah.
Because he didn't, I didn't know until this episode that he didn't even really think that she was hot until that dude told him, and he's like, "Yeah, she is." I
Yeah.
thought that was hella funny.
Yeah. Yeah. And continuing on Global Comics, I have the app. So I read. I just was browsing through and I noticed they had this. So I read this yesterday. Hack and Slash and Body Bags. I guess it dropped. What was it, last week?
Yeah, on
Part
Wednesday
1,
last week.
issue 1 of a 4-issue series. So I mean, if you like Hack and Slash or if you like Body Bags, you get these two worlds colliding. Which so far the first issue's been pretty good.
Is it disturbing? Is there shit that makes you like go like, damn, I can't believe they put that in a comic book in it?
Not yet. It's definitely edgy, like the dialogue and stuff. You know, it's Tim Seeley who writes it. Who was the artist on that? I don't remember. I could go take a quick look.
It's cool.
Yeah, I don't remember who the artist was, but the art's really good in it too.
Yeah, no, I saw like some screen shots on the image site, and yeah, they tried their best to look like Pearson, man. Like,
yeah, definitely a little bit of the Pearson kind of look.
Like the way he draws clown face is almost exact, man. I was shocked by how good his clown face looked.
Stefano Caselli or Caselli.
Okay.
Caselli, yeah.
Caselli.
Steve Earth too. There's 2 illustrators credited here.
Okay.
Oh, there's one cool part that the style looks different, so maybe that's it. Come in and help, and then Tim Seeley does the. So maybe one's the colorist and one's the illustrator, maybe.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped to read it, man. We're gonna do an episode on Body Bags soon. Joe's gonna get Father's Day and read it, and we're gonna cover that. Probably in like a disturbing books that can't be made nowadays list. Like we'll probably talk about maybe that and Repo by Rick Spears and Rob G, because that's another book that Image put out that I personally really enjoy. But it could be problematic to the right reader. You know what I mean? Same thing with, well, I mean, a lot of people find Body Bags problematic, but whatever. And I'm really happy that Tim Seeley didn't back down on anything that the original book had going from it, from what I understand.
Yeah, like she's still, like you said, the daughter. She's caught the trot. So that's Repo, like you're saying.
Yeah, well, my team knows up because they're in the similar vein, and like I said, they're books that probably wouldn't get published right now.
Yeah, love that cover though, eh?
Yeah,
great cover.
Because like the actual issue cover that because it had like this dynamic coloring on it. I liked that they had Rob G recolor it in his style with the minimal colors like that, because it looks so much better than the green actual I think it's issue 3 cover for that.
That's good stuff. What else? Oh, this came in. This was on sale, so I picked that up. The Boland Master Edition for Judge Dredd, so it has a bunch of his original pages.
Has a couple of full issues too, right? Or full strips?
Yeah, maybe a few. Yeah, it's like selected stories because they had to reach out to people who owned.
Yeah,
like they got whatever Brian Boland had, and they had to reach out to people. So you have a credits page of all the people they reached out to.
Yeah, a couple of people that we've had on the show lended their pages, like
we have
the fabulous Phil Hester.
I mean, you got Ashley Wood, Jock, a bunch of guys, man. It's Jerry Ordway. Yeah.
Jock would be cool to have on the show, man. Like I really like his work and have for. Oh, hey Chase, man! I didn't see you were here, man.
Yeah.
Just looked at the chat finally. Hey, how you doing, man? Zori
Yeah,
Thoroughgood did. Yeah, she did the back to school recent arc. This is kind of cool that Tim Seeley is doing a hack/slash property because no, it was I think 4 issues
issue,
right,
yeah.
Bill? Yeah.
And this one's a 4-issue series as well. So
yeah. But like Tim Seeley kind of said that he said his piece with hack/slash, but like you said, this takes place probably in the 90s because you said like it takes place around the time like Panda like hooks up with Clownface. So
yeah, like it's a new thing, the two of them being together, right? So it's
Yeah.
going back to the beginning.
father
So this
and
story,
daughter.
yeah, this story takes place in the beginning. This came in as well. Yeah, it's a little slipcase with 3. Yeah.
Does that got the Apocalypse book that Alan Grant wrote?
It has, let's see, the longest continuous Tank Girl story arc to date. 2 Girls, 1 Tank, World War Tank Girl, and Tank Girl Gold.
Yeah, no, that's the IDW stuff. Like I think Ashley Wood did some of that.
It's Parsons. What's his name? Brett Parsons. His work with Alan Martin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, so that's when it first started at IDW before they let like Ashley Wood and them guys do arcs on it.
Yeah.
That's
and
cool.
This is released by Titan Comics, who yeah. So they put out this edition that came in. This is something I pre-ordered a while back that just came in.
That's groovy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like some Tank Girl. Maybe I'll read that. We'll do an episode on New School Tank Girl because I've only ever read the OG shit. I kind of never. I have some of the Ashley Wood issues from IDW, but like I didn't even read those. I just kind of look at them because you can't help but just like Ashley Wood's art. It's just you know what I mean, hypnotizical or how do you say that? Hypnotic. Yeah, I know. I know how to say it. I was just being an idiot.
That's all right. I invented autist.
Autistic. Yeah. I like that term though. It fits.
It's thanks to Elle. I called her an autist.
Yeah, her and her manatees, man.
Yeah, manatees and their appendages and their dongs.
Yeah, they're bananas.
Do you have anything to check in, man?
Oh yeah, I've kind of I didn't get any of the pictures, but I kind of been rereading and getting into my need to read pile. Like I reread Darling. I did a post on Instagram about it. And dude, it is so much better every time I read it. I love that book so much. I really wish those good dudes get to do more with it, even if they kickstart it like other old guys are doing, old Source Point guys are doing with their books, like right now on Kickstarter. I'll pay for it, man. I will give you $25 an issue to read more Darling. Like that's a book that I'd literally go skin flint price on Kickstarter for. So if you're listening, guys, like please more Darling. And then I read a Stephen Grant book that I've had forever that didn't get into called The Dam or just Damned. And that's a really fun noir book. I feel like an idiot for not reading it sooner. It's really good. And then I also started Colin Bunn's book, The Damned, from Oni Press. It's the book that he did right after The Sixth Gun. That's like really, really early Colin Bunn, like OG Colin Bunn. It's good stuff. It's about a mobster who he's not like really a mobster. He's kind of like a banker type guy. He like handles things for the mob, but the mobster's a demon, and like basically he's cursed and like he's immortal. So like they kill him in gruesome ways several times in the book, and he just always has to get back up. And it's funny. It's good Colin Bunn stuff. And I reread The Black Hood by Dwayne Scisorinsky. It's kind of based in the Archie's universe. It's a vigilante story pretty much. This guy gets hurt, gets his face burned, and he's just cracked out on painkillers and decides that he is sick of the shit that's going on in his neighborhood and starts beating the hell out of people. So it's kind of like Kick-Ass meets Death Wish kind of type of thing.
The Accountant, or
no, he's not. No. He's not really intelligent at all.
No. Okay.
No.
He's not an autist.
No, he's like those damn kids kind of guy. He's almost boomerish in his rhetoric, but it's a pretty fun series. I enjoy gritty grindhousey stuff like that. And the fact that it's like loosely tied to Archie's comics, I really like it because it's a pretty disturbing and brutal book. Like I recommend The Black Hood if nobody's check it out from
Cool.
Dark Circle Comics. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I think.
Nice. It's quite a bit of reading. Oh, I did a lot of reading for an upcoming guest we're going to have too. John Little's going to be on, so I've been reading some of his stuff. So I read some of that too, but we'll be talking about that in depth when he comes on. So
yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. That's going to be the 30th, right?
Yeah, on the 30th. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we got some pretty cool stuff coming up that we're going to be announcing soon. So yeah. So Joe,
yeah,
want to get into Dorfler first? I mean, we might as well.
Yeah, Dorfler.
And we're not going to like review this kind of like how we go through most other books because it has a story, but it's not a narrative. You know what I mean? It's not structured really. You kind of flash between the characters and between fantasy and technology. It's really gorgeous. And it's kind of about, I guess, from what I personally get from the book, it's about these 4 girls that were taken from their small village when they were young and they were tested on, and they had the government that took them, they had these kind of strange interdimensional little fairy creatures like these pixies here, and they basically spliced them with these 5 girls and gave them superpowers.
It's weird. Like, it's almost like a dream, right? The way it reads, it's kind of like a dream, like a fantasy. And then
the main girl we read about, she's stuck in her dream loop, basically, and like they're trying to rescue her during the book now. And the goat boy boyfriend, he's like supposed to find her so they can win. And basically, okay, I gotta check that out. I didn't know he was writing Gotcha Man. That's pretty interesting. I didn't ever peg him for doing some tokusatsu shit. That's funny. I'm definitely, but he wrote Captain America. That's kind of like one of the first thing I think I read of his was when he kind of took over Captain America from Brubaker. So, but yeah, they were trained to be like these psychic warriors, pretty much. But like, the doctor who kind of raised them like snuck them out of the facility one at a time, so they kind of got loose in the world, and they're kind of attacking the imperial forces that took them from their home when they were kids.
Yeah, but like you said, it goes back and forth. It's fantasy, then it goes back to like what you'd present day or like the now. It's I like when I read it, I just felt like it was almost like he had these weird dreams and he just put them on the page, right? He drew them out, like he took notes, and you know, it's fun, it's cool. It's like you said, the art is fantastic, and yeah, and you get I should have clipped that one. There's one page. I think it's a splash page where you have the mountain side with the faces. I don't know if it's that one or the other one before it, but I mean, there's some beautiful, beautiful pages in it. And yeah. And like you said, with that overbite, the big chiclets in the front.
Yeah, the slightly buck tooth, slightly overbite. Like, he is really into that look, because I've seen his work after this book, and like it's always on his girls, you know what I mean? And I gotta appreciate, like, he kind of this book's kind of cheesecakey. It's slightly erotic in places too.
It is. It's definitely mature. Yeah.
But it definitely doesn't fall into like Gooner book category, like the shit you see on Kickstarter all over the place.
Yeah, it isn't gratuitous or graphic. I mean,
the book's very artistic, like completely full of metaphors. Like the breakdown that I gave, that's particularly what I saw and got out of the book. This is very much like a later David Lynch film where like whatever you think it means, that's what it means. He kind of left this completely open to your interpretation. You're just along for this beautiful visual ride with a few like pointers in the story or in the book that kind of give you a, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure like I got a pretty good read on it. I think. I love, like, dude, like, it's very hypnotic, the use of his colors, and it's kind of also off-putting. I don't know, it's kind of creepy looking in a way, but like in a
It's not.
beautiful way.
Yeah, it's not a dark fantasy. I wouldn't call it dark fantasy, but it's definitely dreary, I'd say. Like it has a somber tone to it. You know, like because it's all a lot of like grays and blues, a lot of cool colors. Uh so it definitely has like more of, I wouldn't say dark, but a slightly somber tone. Yeah.
Oh, like I'm trying to find where she like lights the little piggy dudes on fire, man, with her fire sword. That it's got some kind of funny moments to it too. It's a pretty well-rounded book for like a art film on paper. That's the best way I can describe this thing.
And this was released by Fantagraphics, you said?
Yeah, Fantagrapics, I think.
Let's see.
2016, I think it came out.
Oh, so it might be a little harder to find then if it was printed in 2016.
No, I checked on Amazon before, and like it's widely available, and it's usually around like $16. So,
okay, that's not bad. Price point.
No, because it's only 100 pages. It's not like a big book. So, and Fantagraphics is always pretty reasonable, even with like their big oversized hardcovers. Like I got a couple of the complete Creepax books, and those things are ginormous, and they were only $75 a piece. Like any other label, like the Ultimate Watchmen is smaller than this book is, and like they wanted, I think it's that those sell for about $150.
Okay.
So yeah, Fantagraphics is, they understand that they're a niche label. So they kind of really pull out the bells and whistles with their hardcovers and stuff. But like I've never looked at one and been like, oh, that book's not worth that. You know, I've never had that feeling about it. And like you bought the book that Pure put out, that huge ass. I mean, it's a paperback, but like it's 500 pages. It's oversized and it's only $35. You know what I mean? Then
yeah, I bought the Corona. The Corona Bible's pretty big, and the other one too. Where is it? Do I have it there? But yeah. Anyway, that's like 500 pages, right? Roughly.
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
Yeah. And one of my favorite touches that he does in the book is the upside down cat, like making appearances everywhere, popping up above her in several panels. Like that shit's really cool. So Joe, man, did you really get anything different than me out of this book?
Like I said, it kind of gave like that vibe of someone escaping inside themselves from like their situation, where they escape into their own world. Kind of what's that one comic with the giant killer?
I kill giants, right? The one
I
with
kill
the
giants. Yeah, exactly. Where like these characters escape into their own little world to protect themselves from their reality type deal. That's kind of what I got a little bit, like you said, like where she's stuck in her dream loop or whatever. So I kind of interpret it that way, because then when they come back like into the present time, or what's actually happening, you see there's like this war with technology and stuff, and like you said, there's a doctor, there's experiments. So you know, it's kind of a little bit of that like Matrix kind of vibe to it, where you know, where they come and they, you know, fight for their freedom and stuff. And yeah, it's got the mix, you know, like you said, sci-fi with fantasy. And
well, I mean, there's definitely kind of a girl power thing to it too, because they were kind of taken by the men and used as tools for them, and then now it's them kicking the man's ass. Is kind of a big feeling I got out of it too, because see, here they're kind of marching with the Nazi-ish looking guys there, and later on they're just blowing them up and smashing them in the city. You know what I mean? You got
and they had those headbands. I don't know if it's like to control them or whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of the take I got too. Like, even though it's not explicitly like explained in any manner in the book, I think that it's really easy to kind of understand what he's saying and getting at.
Yeah, it isn't a silent comic, but it isn't too far off.
No, there are only very few scenes with dialogue, and a lot of them contain these goofy pixie characters and hey, stinky butt.
The nymph fairies, or whatever you want to call them. Yeah. booger brains. Yeah, booger brains, stinky heads. Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of like tease each other like kindergartners. It's kind of funny,
Mhm.
and they're very sensual. Like almost every time you'll see them, one's going down on another one. So
Yeah, they
so it's
hey,
Sunstone-ish.
they don't have anything to do but to get down, man.
Well, yeah, they're just
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, worse things in life you could be doing. Make love, not war. You know, that's probably a little bit of what the story is about.
yeah, definitely. It's definitely a damn the man story, man, and I'm here for it.
Mhm.
And like, dude, this panel here, where like it's basically showing her boyfriend finding her, but he's personified as the goat, the
Mhm.
satyr, I guess. Like, it's just great visual.
I love the
Storytelling.
double pupil in the eye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's that's always creepy looking, man.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes. There's some great splash pages in it too. Like I said, a fun book. Definitely a different style. Yeah, look at that. I mean, and I don't know if it's. I think it might be colored in marker.
It looks like it, right?
Yeah, I think it's markers. I think they did it. He did it with markers. Yeah.
And I love his trees, man. They're just digital looking. They're like squared limbs, like
Mhm.
very different looking. Or man, that's
Yeah.
oh, that's the mountain.
I love those mountain ranges with the faces on them.
And the weird swirl thing he puts in when the magic's being used.
Yeah, that's
really
a cool.
neat.
Yeah, it is cool. Yeah, like the little design, like aspects, like the swirls, like even that hand. You had a pic later where the hand comes and attacks her sneaks up on her, and just the swirls in the hand and stuff is cool. Nice little design elements to it. Yeah. Yeah. Poof. Swings that sword. She can handle that sword.
But yeah, man, you can find this book on at least Amazon. I'm pretty sure that there's other web stores that it's available on. And yeah, it's about $16, $17 when I found it. So it's not going to be one that will break you. And dude, it's worth getting just for the art. But like, it's actually like a really fun book to just kind of get through. It in a way kind of reminds me of like, like I could see Jermey Baum rolling with people like Farrell Dalrymple and like Stocco kind of. He's like that kind of storyteller-ish. He's a little more surreal and psychedelic, but not too much. You know what I mean? Because those guys are pretty like at least the Stocco's earlier stuff was pretty wild and experimental. So
yeah, I definitely Dalrymple. Yeah, that gives a lot of those vibes. I was actually when you're like, let's do the episode, and we'd read this before we did we were supposed to do it just before we did spooky season, but we had to cancel the episode and push it till after. So I'd read it then, and then I was trying to think back to the story when I was at work the other day, and I'm starting to think back, and I'm like, no, that's frenemies, not frenemy, Renshi's. I was like, I can't get this confused with Renshi's because there's some like similar. What's reality? What is it like? Type thing, like alternate realities in it, kind of like in Renshi's. So I was like, I gotta make sure I don't confuse the two stories. Because I read them actually. I think I read Renshi's and I read this one right after as well. So, yeah. But that's a good comparison though. That Dalrymple. If you like Dalrymple stuff, you'll probably enjoy this.
And yeah, I think Floating Rock Comics is going to be putting out the Robot Todd trade paperback.
Yeah, I saw him announce some stuff on Instagram.
Yeah, so yeah, the Robot Todd that he's been working on. I think he's got 4 issues on the what's it called, the
Patreon.
Yeah. So and his books are usually about 6 issues long. Like all you need is Hurt. Breaks down to 6 issues because it was 2 oversized double-sized comics. So when it originally ran, and then Proxima Centauri and was 6 issues. So yeah, I think that's pretty good estimate of what Robot Todd's going to run to be.
So if you want to get to it before anyone else does, you just subscribe to his Patreon. You could go read it there.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues out for Robot Todd right now.
Yeah. You go on his Patreon and you have access to his new book.
So man, Joyama.
Yeah.
And this cover is actually a spoiler, man. Sadly, like you don't know it by looking at it, but after you read the book, you get like what the what's up. But man, dude, Daniel Isles and his action scenes, dude, like aren't they just fucking awesome? Like he can actually do like a full like several page action scenes that are just gloriously drawn out, man. And we're about to get into one because it starts out with one. Basically, like you start out, you see like really cool glimpses of the city while you're hearing like a dispatch radio, and these cops that are transporting a prisoner, and while they're transporting it, man, this like ninja just comes flying down the road at them and decimates them, man. He just smashes up everybody in the convoy, and like he gets to the back of the bus where they're keeping the prisoner, and he just dices these fools up, launches this guy out the back, and smashes a car up. And like, dude,
that panel's great, eh?
His motion is just so well depicted. But I mean, Daniel Isles, like I read up on him a little bit. He's been an artist for like ever. But mostly worked in commercial art. He did like really cool like advertisement stuff for like Sony and all kinds of big labels. And
Apple, stuff. I think a bunch of big companies, yeah.
But like he kind of always had this neat futuristic look. But this is his first time kind of like sitting down and cartooning. And like, oh my god, like I hope we get to see a lot more of this guy, because I know he's got a couple more books planned for this. I don't know if they're gonna come out, you know. Like
Volume 2 came out this past summer.
Yeah, and there's a plan for a third one, but yeah, the cops are like shooting at this ninja, and they realize that he's got a bulletproof cloak, but they call it an iron coat in this, and he just takes this guy's gun apart with his mind. It's pretty rad. Like this ninja's got like all kinds of dirty little tricks up his sleeve with his like his gadgets. You know, you kind of learn that about him, and it just blows. There's very much a lot of like Akira type stuff in this, and kind of Ghost in the Shell as well, but also mixed with Euro style comics. He kind of blends the two perfectly. Like if you go back to this first panel I showed, like you can clearly see the guy's hat there is a nod to Mobius. Like that's straight up Arzak's hat. So like and the guy himself, he is from the UK originally, but he's traveled all over the place due to like his work and stuff. But now he lives in Japan, so that's kind of why you get this like really beautiful meeting of the styles with the European and the manga, and like he just blends them both really well. And so like yeah, the ninja grabs the guy, the prisoner, and like they take off back down the road.
Disappears into the dark
after all the chaos that he caused. And this is kind of like after the escape, they're like, I'm chilling out, and like the guy, you find out his name's Mr. Randall, the prisoner, and he's basically talking to the ninja who's called Black Cotton, because they're part of the Viper Society. I know that name sounds silly and out of context, but like a black cotton viper is very poisonous. So like it's pretty actually a gangster name. And like Mr. Randall knows that Black Cotton's there to smoke him, even though he's a student, and he understands. But he breaks down like what went wrong in the mission, and basically he was tasked to kidnap the princess at Joyama, and this is him trying to skidoo with her, man. And he's being chased by what's called an overrider. This is like one of our main characters, but like I don't know, like this story kind of bounces back and forth between main characters. It's got a great cast and it uses them well, but this is Arwen, and she's kind of she's pretty important to the arc, the story. But like basically, she catches Mr. Randall, and she's like, "Hey, give the little girl back," and he tries to draw down on her, but she's like deadly with these throwing knives, and she just like takes out his eyeballs, and like that's how he gets popped, and that's why he's got the like lines on his eye, like the crow, and like basically like he makes Black Cotton promise him that he is going to find Outrider Arwen and smoke her for him, because the Viper Society will never do it, but like it's the one thing that Black Cotton could do to, you know, make up for killing his mentor, basically. And like Black Cotton says, yeah, sure, man, I'm gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then smokes Mr. Randall. And like I said, man, these action sequences, he's not afraid of going overboard with the use of panels. And like a lot of people I know, like, oh, you don't want to drag the action on too long. I'm glad Daniel Iles doesn't fucking subscribe to that. You know what I mean? I'm glad that like the action scene, like later on in the book, is like, I don't know, like almost 40 pages long or 30 pages long. I mean, it's immense. And I love every fucking panel of it.
And that one before, like, I love, you get the two views, right? You get it from the
cops, and then you get it from the ninja.
From the ninja, yeah. The gun, when you pull the gun, you get the two views, and then pop. That's a great panel sequence. Yeah. Then introduction of the next character.
Yeah, this is where we like actually get to meet like our main cast.
Hopeless romantic. I kind of feel bad for him.
For Ringo?
Yeah.
He's a dick, but like, yeah, he's kind of tragic.
Yeah, he is.
He's trying to be too cool though. That's a big problem.
Let's say he's trying to impress, right? But it's not. It's kind of doing the opposite.
And yeah, this is a bizarre love triangle. And usually I hate love triangles, but this one kind of really works for me. And basically that's Arwen, Ringo, and Silas. And Arwen and Silas are pretty much in love with each other. They're probably after this job gonna run away together and
leave the agency or whatever it is.
Leave Joyama and like leave the be an outrider. And Ringo has been friends with Arwen forever, and he's been harboring her crush. And he's just friend zoned. But like she likes him too, though. You find out.
She does care for him a lot, yes.
And like right here, they're meeting up because like their friend Juniper's coming to show them a new weapon, and then they're bouncing to pick up Silas's sister Ruby from the train station. And then we meet Juniper here, who is just like this really over the top kind of Karen type character.
Yeah, I like this character though.
Juniper's hilarious because
she's fun. Yeah,
she's so catty, especially with how she treats Ringo. She's just like horrible to him, but it's funny because girls and dudes that are like that in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
like that martini sipping kind of smart ass, making offhanded comments, remarks and stuff. That's it's great. I love that character. She's fun.
So she made him this badass, like Dirty Harry looking revolver with these cool Christmas tree light bullets that are supposed to pierce any armor. But then Ringo brings up, hey man, like, don't your weapons usually not work though? And like even Silas is like, hey, I gotta back him up on this one. Usually like they're best friends, but they don't agree with each other. But like at this point, like Silas is just like, yeah, man, that last thing you sent us out with was Bootsy, man. Which kind of returns at the end of the book, which is pretty funny. So but and then Arwen and Juniper, they go back and they're talking, and Juniper's basically telling her like, you kind of stepped in it, man. The Serpent Society is gonna, because they think that you're the reason that Mr. Randall got killed, and he was like a loved member of like this terrorist organization, so they're gonna be after you. You should hide. And Arwen's kind of like, nah, I'm a badass, and she really is, for her own. I'm not gonna say she's not, but like she kind of maybe should have heeded the advice a little bit. I don't know. Then we wouldn't have had a story though. We wouldn't have had a comic.
Yeah. But she's, you see, she's got she's well informed. She lays it out for her, right? So she knows it's coming.
And this is basically, I think this is Silas's weird attempt to try to tell Ringo what's going on with him and Arwen, but he's not very good at it. He's kind of like, I need to get out of here, and like I need to be simple with somebody that relates to me. And like Ringo's just kind of like, bro, you talk about quitting, just doing like the dude bro thing, which he's pretty good at. And Silas is kind of like, never mind, we got to go get my sister, you know what I mean? And they end up dipping to the train station.
Yeah, the train station. Yeah.
And basically also I forgot that she tells Juniper that she has feelings for both of them, and Juniper kind of freaks out on her a little bit because she can't believe that anybody can have feelings for Ringo. She gets Silas, but like when Arwen says that she kind of feels for Ringo, like Juniper like jumps all over and tells her that she's a spaz and stuff.
Yeah. It's
It's real friend stuff, man. Like
yeah,
he does his best to kind of represent a true friend group here. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I think he nails it for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the banter back and forth, the dynamics, like you said, the triangle, how like she loves him, but she's not in love with him, like in that way, but cares for him great deal, but doesn't love doesn't have the same love for him as he does for her, so it's kind of tragic in that sense.
And then here we get that cattiness. There's Ringo saying, "Bye, Juniper," and she piss off.
Yeah.
So here they are at the train station, and basically, Ringo's sitting there thinking about how he could go bust a Mac on Arwen and make it work. And whereas Silas is just like kind of like, "Hey, I'm gonna go be cool and get my girl some drink." And like, "Hey, Ringo, you want something to drink too?" And Ringo's like, "Yeah, get me some soup," and like a bunch of other stuff to try to keep Silas away long enough so he can try to bust a Mac.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really awkward. He's pretty bad at it, and it doesn't get anywhere because right before he takes so long, right before he kind of says anything of meaning, Silas comes back with soda, and he doesn't have Ringo soup, so that's why Ringo pretends that he's butthurt and dips to the bar, but like it's actually because like he's jilted, you know what I mean? Is the word I think of. And then Arwen basically needs to go potty, which this book also kind of broke my brain because usually you don't ever see people go to the bathroom in media, you know what I mean? But you totally see Arwen pop a squat in this book.
Good media, you do.
Good media. Joe knows all about the toilet media, man. The good stuff.
Yeah, like just think of like Dumb and Dumber has a great bathroom scene, Train Spotting, Pulp Fiction with the toaster. That's a great scene.
And while Arwen's dropping a deuce, Ruby arrives, and you got kind of a cool theory on Ruby, right, Joe? Like something I didn't really get a read on, but I think you might actually have something to that.
I can't remember what I said.
That you think that she's a trans character because of how she's the way she's drawn and the way she is, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe, possibly, yeah.
And you thought that if it is, this is probably one of the best versions of it that you'd seen in a comic.
Yeah.
Like it's not shovey or showy, but like it really
it just nails the personality, the traits without like it does it without telling you it is that, but does it in a way that's I think communicates it clearly,
Yeah. And this is where we get into the next big action scene that like permeates like I don't know, like maybe a third of the book. It's not that long, but it's so good. This Arwen's washing her hands, making sure she's pretty and stuff, and she sees kind of like a disruption in the mirror, and then boom, probably one of the fucking coolest action splashes I've seen, man. Black Cotton coming through the window and her just ducking his katana.
Mm-hmm.
So fucking gangster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some good pages. Yeah, then the action sequence starts.
Yeah, and basically like he comes running at her and she's dodging. She's like hella good at dodging too. He doesn't like land nothing.
Yeah, and I love the way he paces this out, because the way it's paced out is you see that he's a far superior like fighter than she is, and she's just biding her time till maybe the others come and give her a hand, you know what I mean?
Well, and you already know that he's got an advantage too because of all his gadgets. Like he's got all kinds of tricks up his sleeve, and she's just in shorts and like plain clothes and stuff.
Yeah, like he definitely catches her off guard. You know, so it's more like a fight for survival for her than actually trying to kill him. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of where we're almost seeing like her bust out her weapon, but even when he does like the kind of anime stuff where like to jump up on the sword and stuff like that, it's just rendered so great. But like here, you kind of see she's got this like expandable bow staff that's just really cool, and like the way that he has her work it like in this fight, it's really cool. I love the way it works, and I love how he didn't skimp on like showing you all like the features and how far it can go, and like he's pretty good at ducking her too. And
yes,
get the next picture.
I love those great action lines and stuff like that. And I love how the action lines come in and it breaks the characters. Like you see how it breaks into the legs of the character?
Yeah.
Which really adds to the dynamic, like thrust of the, you know, it really adds a lot more energy and it makes it much more dynamic. I love that. That's pretty cool.
And then right here where he jumps on her bow staff and tries to run towards her, she retracts it, pulls it back for a second, and then she shoots it back out and just launches this fool, man. Like here, let me get the panel loaded up.
Yeah, this sequence it's a good fight sequence. And it's what? Over how many pages is that so far? 1, 2. This is like a 20-page chase scene fight sequence.
I mean, she like straight launches him through the wall and then onto the next building where like the fight continues, and this is where it gets really, really nasty.
And I love how it's like very surreal. You know what I mean? Like going through walls.
Yeah, because this is where he starts really cheating because he uses his cloak to like you said, he goes through the floor here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it. It's like they're not superpower, but they're a little more than human, right? You almost get a feeling, which is really cool. It kind of escapes that kind of feeling of reality a little bit.
Straight up.
Yeah. Oh, you have that panel where she's skipping around and smashing all those tiles he's sending her way. Did you get that one? That's pretty cool. That's a good action sequence too. Yeah, right here where the panels start lifting. She's like, "What?" Yeah, good stuff. That.
And then like yeah, here he comes try to pop up out of the floor after her.
It's like he's got like that weird because of his cloak, right? Almost like Ghost in the Shell, kind of like where he disappeared down into the floor.
Yeah, he can actually dematerialize and like phase through stuff.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. Very cool stuff. And then, are you going to show that panel, Johnny? Are you going to spoil it or?
What, that he throws the door at her and then sneaks up and gacks her?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You get the coughing of the blood.
Yeah.
You know when something bad happened there.
And it's at this point that the other girls in the bathroom come running down the hallway and alert the cops that something's going on. And like right away, Silas knows like it's Arwen. So he goes and tells the other cops, man, like get back up, get everybody you can because like shit's going down. And like here he goes into the bathroom and his gun all pulled, him looking all badass, John Woo's character style in his white suit. And this fucking half page full splash, or I don't even know what you call that kind of a panel of him just diving down on them. Like, oh, just looks so good, man. And like you said, you see the wind lines blowing off of his gun from it like breaking the wind.
You know what it makes me think of too a little bit too is Night Watch.
Night Watch, yeah, just not
as Night Watch a little bit, yeah, a little bit like the fight, like the way you see where he's diving. Like I could totally see a lot of the action slow-mo sequences from that movie kind of translated into this. But yeah, it gives me some of those vibes a little bit as well.
So he goes shooting at Black Cotton, and Black Cotton kind of dips or makes him think he does. And Silas being the kind of romantic that he is, he's gonna try to get his lady to safety, Arwen, and like he's carrying her back, and black cotton comes popping out of the tiles again, and
Yeah. So they think they scare him off. He starts sneaking up, like you said. He comes up through the floor, and is he out? Is he out of? I think he's. Is it Black Cotton that fucks his gun up, or is he just out of ammo?
He's out of ammo, and then Black Cotton cuts his shoulder open pretty much. And this is like the first bad injury that Silas gets.
Yeah, then smack.
But yeah, Silas is a badass pretty much, man. It's like even with Black Cotton all his shit, like he just starts boxing him, man, and he's like whooping his ass for a good minute there.
See, like right there where he's like fighting and he kicks him. And just that how you see them fly back with the dust kind of flying up. I love that stuff. That's great. That's some good stuff there. With the debris flying. I love that.
And he's able to knock him out for a little bit, and like this really cool panel of Silas jumping up the building into the hole. So cool. I love shit like this. I just love the art in this book, man. Like
you know who was really good at that back in the day when I was reading Batman was Norm Brayfogle. Was fantastic at doing those sequences where you see it like step by step action. He was fantastic at drawing that. And that brings me back to my childhood reading Brayfogle Batman.
Yeah, that's like Silver Age stuff pretty much. Like you don't see that really anymore. Like that's like Silver and Bronze Age type. But it looks so cool when it's done right like that.
It does, yeah. Yeah. I'll have to break out some of those old Detective and Batman, the Alan Grant and Norm Brayfogle. I'll have to break out some of those pages where he does those type of sequences. They're fantastic.
So Black Cotton kicks up a tile and like basically impales Silas with it, and then
goes in for the kill shot.
Yeah, they're in the bathroom, and like he just flies up and just shanks him, man. And that's pretty much all it could be said for Silas. Poor guy. Which kind of like I said, the front cover is a bit of a spoiler, if you know what I mean. Now you see him like with the little halo walking around in the sky. He a ghost, man. So like this is Arwen seeing her man drop and just like being fed the fuck up, and you already know she good with them throwing knives. So she throws through. He's able to knock one away.
Yeah,
that ain't good enough.
She doesn't get both this time, just the one. But you know, and that's it. You see how he's phasing out too, but he doesn't phase out quick enough that she gets it. I love it. Like I love the way he draws the phasing. Like you know that's what's happening because he established it in like several other panels beforehand. And then this splash page, or what is it? It's a third of the page of just him like kind of so phasing out, but just she was just quick enough to get that shot in there before he phases out and through the ground again.
And while this is going on, Ringo and Ruby are just kind of like walking around there talking about stuff. I think she wants to become an outrider, and he's just kind of like, no way, you're just a kid. You know what I mean? Like typical anime type stuff.
Yeah.
But like they get along. They're almost like brother and sister, like the way these two kind of converse and get along. And they kind of get praised by the situation, kind of like Silas did, but they just see all these cops around and they don't really know what's up until they figure it out. And like they're like, oh no. And then Ruby, seeing Arwen there holding her brother's hand, she just knows what happened, man. And it's pretty emotional, man. This next panel of her just crying out his name, like he does the almost all aspects of this book to near perfection, in my opinion. I really, really cannot praise this book highly enough. I was so happy when I found this because like you never hear about it. You never see it recommended. You know what I mean? Like, which is a damn shame because it's probably one of the finest things that Dark Horse has put out in the past couple of years. This and Kings of Nowhere, which we'll probably be covering in the near future too. Joe's finally gotten to read it, and like, oh man, that is just a fun book. But like, this is them at the morgue. They're all chilling, you know, trying to find. Or I think they're at the hospital, not really the morgue. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah. I forgot to put that on the docket on the list when I made it.
But basically, after Arwen is done kind of saying her goodbye to Silas, she goes and tries to talk to Ruby about going back to wherever. They don't actually say where she is from, but she was outside of the Joyama, the city of Joyama. And Arwen's kind of like being like, go back, you know what I mean? But Ruby's like, dude, my brother sold all of our shit. I got nothing to go back to. We were gonna move away, and like this is kind of like where Ringo learns that Arwen and Silas were a thing, and Arwen kind of says it in a very tasteful way, but not the nicest way possible. She kind of tells Ruby about like that she loves Ruby, but like there's different forms of love, and she's like, I love you like my sister, and I love Silas like a lover, and I love Ringo as a friend. She straight friend zones him, and he fucking flips out. It's really dumb what he does. That like his best friend's like corpse viewing. I don't even know what you call that when you're like at the morgue identifying the body. Like he gets totally uncalled for, and like he pisses Ruby off because he says forget what he tells her. Oh no, he says that like finding out about Arwen and him would make him kill Silas would be dead anyways. Forget about Black Cotton, which really pisses off Ruby. And by that time, Arwen's already dipping, and she at this point you don't really know it. You kind of find out a little later in the book, but she kind of like disappears after this because she finally takes Juniper's advice and decides to just get away from everything. And this is basically Ruby telling Ringo like, I hate you, I don't ever want to see you again, you know what I mean? Because like
he burns all his bridges.
Yeah, he pulls a fool, that guy that we used to have on the show. And at this point in the book, I really like that he does it, and I like that he does it so late in the story. He kind of introduces you to the people of power. Like here you kind of see the leaders of Joyama, and like the squire's kind of telling the king or the man at arms or whatever he is who looks after the princess that Silas has been killed after they kidnapped the princess. So like this means full war on the Viper Society. Meanwhile, you got the Viper leaders coming and meeting with Black Cotton.
Yeah. Laying it down, telling him what he can and can't do.
Yeah, they're telling him, and I don't understand why he doesn't get killed like Mr. Randall. He fucked, I guess because he didn't get arrested. That's the only reason why he's still alive, because he screwed up as bad as Mr. Randall by killing Silas. You know what I mean? Like, so like, but they're kind of like, don't do it again. We got another job. We got some more fools for you to smoke. So, you know, just stay here until you're called for.
Yeah, and they probably know they'll need him down the road because with all the shit that's gone down, you know, things are going to get hairy. So,
and this is where it kind of gets me to think that like Ruby is going to actually be the main character of the comic, because this is where you really get to know her, and they give her really, really big main character vibes here, and you kind of see her living in Silas's apartment and trying to get acclimated to the city of Joyama, which it was never like supposed to be her city. She was just supposed to come here for like a day, and but she kind of actually is starting to fall in love with it in her own way. She's liking it, and she really wants to become an overrider, even though they keep denying her. So you also at this point get to see what Ringo's been up to, and basically he finds these two underlings of the Serpent Society. He chases them down and beats their asses, and they basically tell him that because he's looking for Black Cotton, and they're like, dude, he's not in the organization anymore. Like they told him what he can and can't do, and he just dipped. And wherever your girlfriend is, wherever Arwen is, that is where you'll find Black Cotton. And then basically, oh, and it's also hella brutal here. I gotta load this up. Ringo uses the gun that Juniper made for them, and it's like way overpowered. It like legit blows this fucking kid's leg off.
The foot right off. Yeah, completely blows like the middle of the shin just right off, so his foot goes flying right off.
Yeah, well, I think everything
He's
from
like,
the knee down is blown off.
And you see, he sets the power level to low. And
he sets it to stun, and it blows the fucking kid's leg off.
Yeah.
And basically, like, he calls Juniper to try to tell her that like her gun doesn't work, and she flips out on him. She tells him like, because she doesn't even let him talk. She figures he's calling to find out where Arwen is, and she says like, "Hey, don't call me ever again. And anyways, you should be looking for Ruby. Like, she's the real victim here." So Ringo gets his head out of his ass, and like he goes and visits Ruby and tells her like, "Hey, I pulled some strings, and you're gonna be a outrider now." She's kind of like, "Nah, dog, I don't want to do that no more, especially if it's coming from you." And so the next day, she kind of at that night, I do have to upload this. This is just such a powerful fucking little scene with where Silas comes and visits her in the night
through the window.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's going to be something later on, like
Silas's ghost more. Yeah, I got to get the second book and read it. But like, yeah, and I love the way he materialized. That's so very
cool.
Mike Allred looking.
Kind of. Yeah.
Mike Allred, like the way he kind of drips into place. And like he visits her, and after that, she basically tracks down Ringo and tells her that she'll take the job. And he's like, "Well, how'd you find me?" And she's like, "Well, I wouldn't be a good outrider if I didn't have a job, if I didn't know how to find you." And he's like, "Good point." And she basically tells him like, "I'll be an outrider, but I got to live with you, dude. I can't live in my dead brother's apartment anymore. It's killing me." So he's like, "Okay." And they share a big hug, and that's where this volume ends, kind of like on a nice touching war moment.
They're both kind of playing it tough, and then it ends with just the beautiful.
Yeah, she just tackle hugs him pretty much.
Yeah, I promise I'll do my best. Like, and that's like it's all squashed. We're all good from this moment on. We're good.
Flash up the cover of book 2 because it's Ringo. Yeah, it's Ringo hugging Arwen. So I guess they do find each other. I got to read it though. I'm really hyped for it. I should have got it by now, but
it's in the back. Here.
Yeah, it's right after that page. There we go. So it looks like there's going to be more emotion. I hope more really long action scenes and more just beautiful, beautiful looks at the city, man. I cannot say enough how cool Joyama is. Like, I'm glad that he named it after the city because it's such a big character in it. And I didn't upload very many of them, but there are so many just really cool atmospheric shots of the city. Here, I'll put up one of my other favorites really fast. Let me upload it really.
Oh shit! They have volume 3 listed as well.
Yeah, I saw that it was announced. I just don't know when it's coming out.
From what it looks like here, it's out.
It is out. Oh shit!
So volume 2 and 3 are both available.
I love this like little business here, like with at the U-turn. Oh, that's just neat detail, man. It's like just makes the city so alive and so cool. I cannot recommend this book highly enough. And it's usually really pretty easy to find on Amazon and stuff like that, and it's relatively cheap. I think it's about $16-17 as well. Does yours on the back say how much it is in American, Joe?
$20
American, but it's 200. It's 220 pages. I think it's 200 pages of story, and there's some pretty good back material where it shows character sketches and
talks
it
about the
talks about Daniel a little bit.
Yeah, some guest covers too.
Yeah.
You have the process stuff. His work, sketching out. You have the bio. Here, let's turn the page. Yeah, so you have he shows you all like his preliminary sketches, his early ideas and stuff. Like, if you like process stuff, there's he's got it in the back. So yeah, cool stuff.
But if you ever watched Ghost in the Shell and like the action and everything, but kind of wished it got a little more in depth with the characters instead of just the cases that they're on, like this is definitely the book for you, man. It's got that same kind of elite cop action while at the same time it's got almost not gonna say soap operatic, but like it's close to that. Like the drama and it's very well done though. Like I
Like my favorite part was that last part with Ruby and
Ruby in the
Ring.
City and,
Yeah,
and
Ringo. Like like the build up to that, like her alone, talking about her solitude, getting to know the city, walking around. You know, she finds that dog and feeds the dog, and
oh yeah, the shop owner is always mad at her. And she's
mad at
like,
her
one
for
day
feeding the dog. Yeah, that's it. Like these little touches that just add so much personality and character.
and life to it. Yeah,
Yeah, life to the book. Yeah, exactly. Like it's lived in.
hell yeah, man. And I'm glad that you got this book when you did and read it, man, because so a lot of people don't ever listen to my recommendations, and I think I got good taste. And like you seem to be pretty good at like actually like checking out the stuff that I'm like, hey,
Well,
dude,
I
this
got
is really good. Yeah, you
you know,
always get the stuff I kind of recommend, or at least a
most
good
of it.
good
Yeah.
portion of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I take a look, and if it looks like something I'll like, I'll definitely pick it up.
Well, I mean, now that I know kind of more your style, I know what to recommend to you. That's why I knew that like, you'd like Dan to Dan, and you'll like and that you'll like
I like that weird stuff, you know, like I love Pissant Apocalypse. Like this is right up my alley too. Like just I love that, like those kind of books, you know.
It's been out long enough. But I'll ask James, but like we should do like kind of a full review on it.
Mm-hmm.
Do an episode like this on it.
You know, I love that kind of stuff, you know, like and yeah, like you know, like I was posting in the chats, like the books that really changed the way I look at comics when I like from like Spider-Man and Batman, and you know, I traded one of my friends was super into Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man, so I traded a Spider-Man comic for this Ninja Turtles comic. So it just blew my mind, you know. It's Eric Talbot. So I don't know if this is after Eastman and Laird gotten to their spat and weren't really working together anymore. But Eric Talbot does the art. Here, let me get a good
and it's
page.
actually better than anything that they ever drew. Like it's
like fantastic. I mean, like in black and this is the book that this Turtles book here made me fall in love with black and white comics. This book right here. Then I got like one of my favorite covers I have is the Judge Dredd cover with the Tyrannosaurus.
And you also got a really rad black and white. You get to see the inks of it in
Yeah,
your book, right?
yeah, they have the original inks for that in the book. I think it's pretty easy to find. Yeah, and I did a compare, and it looks so good in black and white. It's crazy. Is it at the end? That's right here. It's coming up.
I got a pretty good stack of those Eagle Judge Dredd comics too, man.
Yeah, I got it for Christmas one year. There was like a comics bundle you could order through the Sears catalog. And my parents got me that because I was super into comics. And you got like 30, 40 comics. And it came with like a short box. And it just had a bunch of DC, Marvel. It had a bunch of variety of stuff. Yeah. So you see that. Oh, man. Imagine owning that original. Woo.
That'd be dope, man.
I don't know who has it, but whoever has it is one lucky mofo.
It's probably somebody that's into vor, man. Like.
Mm-hmm. So. And then obviously Lobo. You know, the Alan Grant and Simon Bisley's Lobo. That kind of, you know.
Yeah, that's very 2000 AD. Like I found out really late in life. I wish.
Yeah, because that's what I was surprised when you said it. You had a very kind of misguided notion of what that was, like the original Lobo one.
People always literally told me he was the Wolverine of DC, and that made me not want to read him.
Yeah, no, he's not at all the Wolverine of DC.
No, not at all. He's like the Bugs Bunny, big buff Bugs Bunny of DC. Because like,
very
that's what he is. He pulls, he pulling hammers out of his pocket and shit. Like, yeah,
or just pulling people's heads off, like very slapsticky. You know,
which I mean, when I found out Alan Grant wrote it, and after I knew who he was, I should have put two and two together, and like, because like it really is written like some of his like more wacky Strontium Dog strips that he did back in the day. Like I forget what it was called, the one where the techno punks brought Ronald Reagan into the future, and like him and Durham Red had to go rescue him, and like Ronald Reagan was just always wandering around just saying like this really kind of bozo shit all the time. It's really funny. It's such a funny strip. I forget what it's called though. I think I have it somewhere. I'll pull it out and show it to you. But yeah, that's very, very much along the same lines of like what he did with Lobo. And Yeah, I, mean, I appreciate it, especially that first arc. The second one was really silly, where he goes to like the
Where
pleasure
they
island and shit, and like he's just holding it hostage until he just gets bored. He's just like, "You guys can have it back. This is dumb.
yeah
I'm done with it."
yeah. So yeah, then you got Infanticide that Keith Giffen did. That's pretty cool. The art in that, I love his stylized. He goes with a really weird. Like anyway, I'll have to show it to you sometime, or you could even look it up. It's his art style, and that's really cool.
All right, for real. So, man, yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean Keith Giffen. He can. Another artist that makes me think of Keith Giffen, but more of modern day, is Kari Andrews, where he can just, okay, what style do you want? I could draw it. And Keith Giffen did that. Like he did like what was the Mohawk guy from DC? This alien Mohawk character. Nomak? No. Omak.
Omak, okay.
When he did Omak, he drew it like just like shit. Who's the great Kirby? Like a Jack Kirby style.
Okay.
Like the relaunch of the New 52, like Giffen drew it, and he drew it like a Jack Kirby comic, you know, and it was pretty cool. I dug it. I love the art style. And like Infanticide's a whole different kind of art style, and he's really good at just picking, like changing his style up, you know, if he needs to or wants to. It's pretty cool.
My bad. I'm a huge X-Men fan, so you said alien with a mohawk. All I could think of was Gladiator.
Yeah, yeah, he is a space Mohawk guy. Yeah, from space. Yeah. With was he with?
He's a Shi'ar Empire warrior. He's
Yeah,
like the highest class of warrior they have. Like there's
So is he on her side? What's her name? Lady Deathbird. What's her name?
I think that she's like in a echelon different than him, because I think she is like just an assassin, whereas Gladiator is like a general of the army.
Yeah,
and,
so they're often fighting each other. They're not together. I don't think they're not allies. They're usually
she left the Shi'ar Empire and like was an X-Men for a long time, which doesn't bode well too much. Like the Shi'ar Empire has worked with the X-Men, but they don't get along.
No, that's it. Yeah, I was reading some Uncanny X-Men where they had a lot of that stuff with Claremont and Jim Lee there, where they were in space, and yeah. Then you have obviously Charles Xavier has these romances with. He's like the Captain Kirk, I think, of Marvel.
He's got a sexy wheelchair, man. That's all.
Yeah, he's gotten pretty.
Yeah, I mean,
romantic with a lot of different people, man.
Yeah,
he's a player.
He's on almost the same level as Daredevil, which like is kind of weird.
Yeah, Daredevil too. He's a player.
I guess you got to be kind of handy capable to be a horn dog in the Marvel universe.
And get away with it, right? So that they're not all mad at you for playing both sides, you know. You know, I've had it rough, you know.
Yeah, you don't know how hard it is to grow up like I had.
Yeah. Then they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then they you know. All right. Yeah. I guess we could fucking close it on there. How'd we get here, man?
Yeah, straight up, man. Oh, that was good. All right.
Yeah, so.
We will be on Phono tomorrow. I'm not sure what the episode's going to be about. It might be like the haunted house thing, but I don't think so because we're so far away from Halloween. And Al was saying something about the sexiest man alive. So
I think that might have been a joke, but I think it's going to be like a year in review and most anticipated.
Yeah, that should be fun. And she'll probably bring up the sexiest man alive just because it's
she
Elle.
will. Yeah.
She likes being.
She'll probably bring up some bat flick.
Yeah, she got
a thing for Ben Affleck, man. I don't know what it is.
Hey, Ben Affleck is hot, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
and he beefed out for Batman too. So
yeah.
So
yeah.
So yeah,
if you white, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, tomorrow night on Phono.
Do we got anything planned for? I know that we got a show on the 30th. Like, that's one thing that we could definitely promote. We're gonna have John Little.
We have the New York catch-up episode on the 21st.
Yeah, we're gonna have Dean and Cookie and Juan, who all went to the New York Comic-Con this year, and they're gonna tell us how fun it was because we're both lames that never.
and then the 30th. Yeah, those are the two things we have written in stone, scheduled. The rest is kind of up in the air. We'll have to figure it out.
But man, we might have a big Tuesday or something really soon.
Yeah, because Chase said he wanted to get back on that on the X Factor. So
yeah, that's a possibility. I could get you to finally read The Hood. Like,
yeah, get some Kyle Holtz up in here.
Yeah, you've been like posting them a lot, man. So you might as well
I like his stuff.
Better comics.
I didn't realize he was the one who drew the original story for that.
Oh yeah, he did the Dark Reign comic too, even though that wasn't written by BKV. It was written by somebody else, but it's pretty good. I didn't mind it. It's not bad for a belated follow up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the show. Until we see ya, keep it classy, y'all.